A few years ago, I produced a video called How to Value a Business, Key Factors You Should Consider Before You Buy or Sell. And I actually produced that video. I uploaded it to my Over 50 TV YouTube channel. And that was before I launched the Side Hustle Rules YouTube channel. And then, of course, the Side Hustle Rules Patreon page where I really go in depth on a lot more business-related topics. But this video, you know what? It generated a lot of comments and, of course, a lot of questions. One of the common questions that I get from people who are looking at buying a business, maybe even looking at selling a business, is, Lou, what do I consider or what do I value? How do I value a business that revolves around the owner? Well, that is a very, very interesting question. It's a very good question. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to answer that question. So right after this break, we're going to tackle how do you value a business that revolves around the owner? And that, my friends, that's up next right here on Side Hustle Rules. Come on! Welcome back to Side Hustle Rules. My name is Lou Reyes. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to answer the question, how to value a business that revolves around the owner. But before I do that, I just want to mention that in the description box of this video, I do have my free Side Hustle Starter Kit. If you're someone who is looking at starting a business, you're not sure about the steps that you need to take, well, what I've done is I've created a Side Hustle Starter Kit, my Side Hustle Starter Kit, which walks you through the 8 steps that every business owner has had to take before they could start or before they could actually launch their business. And that Side Hustle Starter Kit, it's free. There's a link to that kit in the description box. All you got to do is click on it, download it, and it's yours for free. So let's get to that question. Let's answer the question, how do you value a business when it revolves around the owner? First, let me define what I mean when I say when a business revolves around the owner. And the best way that I can really kind of define that is by giving you some examples of businesses that revolve around an owner. Say a carpenter who goes out and builds and installs cabinets in a home. That business revolves around him, his decades of experience, his special skill, his talent to build and install cabinets. So to me, that business revolves around him. Now, another example would be a doctor or a dentist whose business revolves around them. And that doctor or dentist, they have that bedside manner. Hopefully, let's cross our fingers on that one. But they've got the client, their patient who's been going to them for years. And that patient has a lot of trust and faith in that doctor and, of course, in their diagnosis. So that's what I mean when I say a business revolves around that doctor, revolves around that carpenter, or maybe a plumber or an architect. They have special skills, they have special talents, and they have developed and they've built trust over years. So when one of those people decide they want to sell their business, it's time to retire, or maybe they want to move off into another direction, a completely new direction. When they decide it's time to sell, what they're selling and what is going to be on the books, they're going to say is probably goodwill. We're selling our goodwill. That's basically our client base, our customer base, our patient base. So we're selling our goodwill. Now, in some cases, I know, and from some of the questions that I've gotten from viewers is, Lou, I'm afraid if that person leaves, if they leave, and they just decide, hey, they're going to sell me the business, they leave, and then the customers are going to leave with them, and the customers are going to be dispersed out to whoever else is out there that they may have gotten. Someone said, hey, go to this doctor. I know your doctor retired, or yeah, your cabinet maker, he's retired, he's gone, he's off in another direction. So here's another cabinet maker. Well, that does happen, and it happens frequently where someone will just go ahead and leave. And then, of course, now you're going to be looking at how do I value this business? Well, there's a few ways to do it. So let me just get right to it. Number one is I'm always going to look at the customer base. That's number one. I'm looking at that customer base. And then I'm going to figure that how many or what percentage of those folks who are regular customers, long-term customers, how many are likely to stay with me, provided that owner goes out of their way. And I say out of their way because I'm asking that owner who's selling that business, I'm asking them to introduce me to their customer, to their patient. I'm asking that owner who's leaving, I'm asking them to help me, to write a letter. I'm asking them to maybe make a phone call and introduce me and say, this is a person I trust. This person will take over my practice. This person's going to take over my carpentry business, my plumbing business, my architectural firm. This is a person you can count on. There's a lot of value in that owner passing the baton and saying, yeah, trust this person. If that owner doesn't do that, if that owner just says, hey, I'm gone, here's the keys to the door, it's your baby, you take it. If that owner doesn't do that, if they don't pass that baton, if they don't try to make it a smooth transition, well, then I am going to walk. I'm not going to bother buying that business whatsoever. And I recommend, my thoughts are, I'm going to recommend don't buy that business. Now, there are going to be exceptions. You may find an exception or two, so I'm going to let you know that there could be an exception. But for me, Lou is walking. I am not talking to anyone. I am gone. I'm not going to bother buying the business. Now, there is something else to consider, though, and I want to make sure I say this to you. Now, if the assets of that business are so substantial, but it's not likely to happen if it's a doctor or a cabinet maker. It's not likely, that person is going to have those kinds of assets. They're going to have some, but the goodwill is really what you're buying. So without that baton, without that handoff, there's no value. So if they give you that baton, if they give you that value by talking to their customer, their clients, their long-term customers and clients, if they give you that value, if they go ahead and help you, well, then, yeah, you know what, I'm going to look at that business a lot differently. But without that help, there's no way I would value that business. It would be of no value to me, at least, and maybe you would look at it a little bit differently. I can't imagine that you'd buy something with nobody easing you into that customer base. Now, how would I value that business? If that person who's selling it, the business owner is selling it, how would I value it? Well, I would look at that business and I would go through the whole process that I mentioned in the video that I produced, how to value a small business. I would look at those points in that video, and I will put a link to that video on the upper corner here so you can check it out for yourself. But I would follow that formula. But again, I get this question a lot. Business revolves around the owner. How do I value the business? Well, I hope I just answered that question for you. If you do have any questions, any comments, please go ahead, send me an email, make a comment in the comment section here. Other than that, like I always say, have a great day, everybody. Come on!